everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And, well, it's the final podcast before the draft.
It's
The draft.
time!
That's right. The draft is this week. It's just a few days away. We're recording this on Monday. So, Jerry, a lot of excitement around my room here about the draft. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, I am too. This is the time I love. I also feel like the draft, after the draft, I feel like it's more of a downhill slope towards the season. Because then we start going to OTAs, we get those last free agents. So we kind of have more of an idea of what this team is going to be. Because right now, yes, we filled holes in free agency, but we've all been waiting for the draft. We're waiting for the stars. Yep. We're looking for the guys to, knock it out of the park this season. And that's what we're headed towards. Now with that, before we do anything else, I do want to ask people to please go into the description and vote for my mock draft. One of the podcasts, I can't think of the first, Panthers First podcast or something like that. Well, they're doing a vote for top 32, podcast for Carolina, and they're doing mock drafts, and I'm in the Elite 8 right now, and love to get further on there and get in the championship. So please go on there, check out my draft, and select mine if you can.
Yeah, we need help this week. We're up against a pretty popular show, I think. So he's gonna have a lot of fans coming out and voting for him. So we need some help.
Yeah,
we're all Team Jerry right now. So let's go.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as it started, I started messaging people, and they're like, "Wow, you're getting your butt kicked," and I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks." So did you vote? At least help.
Right? Yeah. Well, I voted for you, Jerry. So
thank you.
But yeah, good reminder there. Yeah, it kind of sucks because this is after this weekend. It's pretty dark until realistically July. I mean, you got a few mini camps and stuff like that come along, but it's pretty quiet until mid-July. But see, when things really start getting exciting.
See, I think this is the most optimistic time to a certain point because
it is
because everyone's envisioning everything going 100% correct. Matt Rule finally figuring out how to coach or something like in the NFL. I was there once.
Frank Reich's gonna get his guy, no doubt about it. It's gonna come in and be amazing. And yep. Yeah, well, it's hope season right now. That is true. And I feel like as Panthers fans, I think we've earned a little bit of hope, realistic hope coming into this draft and into this season.
I 100% agree with that. This year, I do have real hope of not turning it around. We're not going to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, but I do think we can at least contend for the NFC South.
I think it's realistic to believe that is a possibility.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're winning it. I'm not saying anything else. Now, after the draft, I probably will be, but right now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's a lot of questions. The Panthers have been pretty clear about their intentions of wanting to trade back. So we'll see. Well, they just had a top 30 visit. I think it was yesterday of an offensive tackle who's slated to go in the first round. So they're keeping their options open. If they do trade back, it feels like they probably truly will go with BPA.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean,
which could be a tackle. Yeah, could be anything. Even a boat. Could be a boat.
Now, with that being said, has there anybody upped on your draft board or you're kind of falling out of love with or anything like that since we've done these recordings since the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Walker obviously has become kind of a darling to a lot of fans and teams, it seems like. Seems like him and one of the wide receivers, not one of the top two. No, not Golden. Yume Ukabari or one of the guy. Yeah,
Ohio State.
That is not his name. that is not his name. Yeah, okay. Those two guys, Jalen Walker and that guy, have kind of, in terms of character, those two seem to be the ones that are kind of blowing it out of the water in these team meetings. So, will Jalen Walker even get to 8 at this point? I saw someone compared him to Roquan Smith with a better pass rush.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case, then
yeah,
that's worth the 8th pick.
I've also heard that he has comparables to Micah Parsons lately. Like, so 100%. That's
what I'm saying. Like, things are getting a little out of control.
Yes.
It feels like with Jalen Walker, like really getting talked up. But yeah, he would be the one for me who, if I wasn't, when we started our draft profile process, he was one of the first ones we did. And I don't remember that he was number 1 for me at the time.
No.
Of the guys we had talked about, but I think he probably would be now.
Mine too, and I think I had Mykel Williams a little higher. I like Mykel Williams. I like the way he plays and stuff like that. But the more and more I'm listening, the more I'm hearing about his leadership in the locker room and stuff. And this defense needs it. J.C. Horn and Derek Brown don't seem to be the vocal leaders. I'm not saying that they're not a playing leader, but they don't seem to vocalize leadership that I think this team, especially a young defense, will need. And from all accounts, it sounds like he has it.
Yeah, I mean, you're building a culture. He seems like one of the best guys to come in to that situation.
Yeah,
from everything we've heard. So, yeah, he's probably the guy that's moved up the most for me. And then I guess T-Mac probably has dropped a bit, although, I guess at this point, like, even if we did go wide receiver and it happened to be Golden over T-Mac, I think I'd be okay with that. Like, I think T-Mac's still the number 1 for me, but he definitely is. The shine is a little bit off of him. And again, it's just from what you've heard, right?
Yeah, and that's what I think it is. I think that you've heard it. And I'm still looking at this team and seeing what we have and what we need. And I think we still need that top off the defense type of player. I know Xavier Legette can run that 4-4, or 4-3-9. I want somebody that's always terrifying that defense, always keeping those safeties back.
Yeah, agreed. And maybe we have that all on Teenham already. That seems to be what Canales thinks, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, well, we have a few things to talk about here. Jerry and I are actually going to be watching the draft together this year. We're going to be at Dave & Buster's. If anybody happens to see us out there, just stop by and say hello.
Yeah.
But,
in Concord Mills, let's not send anybody else.
Sorry. Well, we're around the Charlotte area. I don't know how many Dave & Buster's there are, but yeah, the Concord Mills one. So yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a fun here. We usually like to do a little draft sheet where we kind of come up with 10 to 12 what will happen in this situation type questions, and we kind of make little bets on them. And I think the standard bet is a 6-pack or something.
Yeah, that's typically what we do. Or we could do like the $20 random Amazon gift.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. That'll be fun.
Okay. And remember, last time you won, I got you a nice set of used rubber duckies.
Yes. Still wet.
Still wet. No, wait,
Still wet.
I think I lost again, and I got you the Luchador Carolina Panthers
mask. You got me the
mask.
Luchador mask, yeah. Yeah, I've been racking up the great prices here. The Luchador mask was a better gift.
Oh, the Luchador mask is money.
Yeah.
You should wear that one day.
I should find it first, and then I should wear it. All right. So yeah, we've got a few questions here, but and we may add some as we go along. But Jerry, do you want to get off here?
Yeah, the first question we have on the board here is: will the Panthers make a trade in the first round?
We know they want to.
Yeah, I mean,
they desperately want to.
I feel like this is like a 17-year-old going prom trying to hand away his V card. I mean, he's like, anybody want this pick? Anybody, please?
Anybody. Yeah, I kind of think they won't. I kind of don't know that they're going to get an offer. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think the answer is no. I don't think that they're going to get a trade offer that they like, and I also kind of think Jalen Walker might be there, and I think that's who they'll go with then.
Yeah, and honestly, I'd be fine with it. So
Yeah.
I would like another second round pick. They don't pick again until 57 after 8. So I don't know if they'll be able to make some magic and trade up a bit, but I hope they do pick higher than that second. All right. Next question here. Will the Panthers draft an offensive or defensive player in the first? So, we both think that they're potentially going to go Jalen Walker, but what do you want to put on the sheet, Jerry?
I'm putting defense. I'm sorry. I'm tired of buying you used rubber duckies and luchador masks.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to go defense as well, just because it's the most obvious that they've been going defense this entire offseason.
This isn't going to be a fun bet if we keep winning. Like,
I know. Well, here we go. Here we go. Who will the Panthers draft in the first? Okay, so we're probably both going to go Jalen Walker here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there might be another one here that we're gonna. Yeah, all these Panthers. This is the problem with doing the podcast together and having kind of similar opinions. Is we end these processes with very similar opinions.
True. How many quarterbacks will be taken in the first round? How about this? We'll go 2.5 over under.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna go over.
Okay, I'm gonna go under. I'll stick with 2. I think Jackson Dart has a chance.
Yeah. So you think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are definites?
I think Shedeur was going in the first.
He probably doesn't fall.
Yeah.
Too far. Yeah.
So
I think I'll say Dart goes in the first.
I do think that Dart or that Stout kid from Ohio State has a chance to sneak in there. I just don't think anybody's in love with them. So I'm gonna say that they hold on to the second round.
I'll just go with the conventional wisdom that says if you're going to draft a quarterback and he's borderline, you trade into that 30th to 32 range, pick him up just for that 5th round.
Hey, look, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens did that with him, and that was a solid move.
Yeah.
Worked out.
All right. Yep. So I go over, you go under. All right. Who will be the first wide receiver not named Travis Hunter taken in the draft? So I don't know if Travis Hunter is going to go in as a wide receiver or a corner, but like if you bet, first wide receiver taken on one of these sites, I wonder if he'd count. But we're going to pretend he's off the board here. So is it Ted or is it Golden? That's kind of the question.
I think it's T-Mac.
I'm going to go other way. I'm going to go other way.
Oh.
Yeah, I just feel like it just feels like one of those situations that it's going to be weird and, Golden will be taken and then there'll be a scramble, right? Because everybody's going to be like, oh, T-Mac's still out there. And then he'll go within the next 2 picks or something. But yeah, I'm going to go Golden. All right.
Oh, here's one that's going to be tricky. How many trades will occur in the first round? I'm going to go 4.
Is this another one where we should set an over-under?
Well, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go 5.
So do we want to set...
That feels really high.
I was going to say, do we want to set it at 4.5 then, or...
Let's set it...
Because I want to go 4 if we do it 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the over at 3.5, and I'll take the under. How about that?
Okay.
Now I
feel like it's a potentially a low.
Yeah, I do agree though. I think 4, but I'm.
Well, I'll take the under. I'll take the under.
No, no, no.
If you really want 4, you said 4. You could have 4.
Nah, it's fine. You went 5, so I'm gonna give you the 5 or the higher. So there we go.
All right.
Does a
Okay.
running back get drafted in the top 8?
Yeah, I thought top 5 here, but top
Absolutely.
8 seems more
Yes.
realistic. You think so? Yeah.
Yes. Everything I'm hearing is Ashton Gentry is a legit elite top tier player. Now, I haven't really done much research on him as I know he's not going to be here, but.
All right. I will say no.
Okay.
I think he'll get drafted 9th. I think he'll get drafted. Okay. All right. So here's a fun one. How will Twitter respond? How will Panthers Twitter respond to our first round pick? So generally here, like, is the sentiment going to be, and we'll know, is the sentiment going to be mostly positive or mostly negative?
I'm going to say mostly positive. You're always going to have those guys that want the T-Mac or something like that. Because I think we're both correct in the fact they're going defense. I think we're leaning towards Jalen Walker, but if they ended up going someone else, it would not shock.
Well, just so remember a couple of years ago when we were picking around this area, I think it might have been 9th or it might have been 8th, and we picked J.C. Horn. And everyone wanted Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And when the commissioner said everyone thought it was going to be Justin Fields. And it was J.C. Horn, who was not the top person on a lot of people's boards to come here, right?
Wasn't even the top
wasn't even the top corner. Right. Wasn't even the top corner. So I feel like we had we done this question then, the overall sentiment would have probably been a little negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll kind of feel that. Like, I think that's the scenario here. So you're going to say positive. I don't want to think it's going to be negative. I'm going to say positive as well.
Okay. I have another one here that is total offensive linemen in round 1, 6.5 over or under.
6.5.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel?
I think over.
Okay, I'll go under. Just because I think this is going to be more of a defensive heavy draft, especially in the first round.
And I get that. I also think that it is going to be where there's going to be 3 guys, 3 tackles, and they're going to all go, and then there's going to be a couple other linemen too. I think that the elite guys are going to go quick because the rest is just not there in depth wise.
All right, I just thought of another one.
Good.
So do the Panthers end the draft with more 2026 draft picks than they start with?
Absolutely.
Okay. That's I'm gonna say no. I think that we'll make a trade, but I think it's gonna stay within this. With more I'm
You're struggling there.
2026. So I'm saying they pick up a next year draft pick.
Oh yes.
Okay.
I'm certain they are. I don't think Dan Morgan and Canales feel any heat on their seats right now, and I think that building for the future is a smart way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be happy if it did happen.
I think I will say I was not the biggest Dan Morgan supporter when he got hired, but I have loved the fact that I see him having plans and going after those plans in both off seasons and both draft. It hasn't been perfect, but at least I see the plan they're trying to work with, and he's trying to get done.
There is a very clear strategy.
Yeah.
And he, Canales, and Tepper all seem to be following the same strategy.
Correct.
Which I feel like it is the first time that has happened within the Tepper ownership timeline, right?
Me too. Like last year, it was let's build the O-line. Let's give Bryce something to work with. Let's see if he can be our guy. This year, it's, okay, it looks like Bryce is going to be our guy. Let's spend our money in the offseason, try to shore up as many holes as we can. Let's not break the blank on one player. They tried, but it went too high, so they shored up positions, and they're like, okay, now in the draft, we're going to go best player available for a need, which we have many of them.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's which kind of is interesting about which way they go in the first round here, because like you said, we do have many needs. You know, part of me just desperately wants them to go wide receiver or tight end.
Right? I guess my biggest
that's it. I'm just saying, part of me desperately wants it because I want to see an explosive offense for the first time since Cam Newton left. Right? I just really want it. So much more fun to watch when your team can put up 30 points pretty consistent.
Yes, it is.
Now, and I understand, you know, the thought process as well, but part of me just would be so excited to see them go after one of these sexy offensive picks.
Yeah, I guess my thought is too, we had 2 rookie receivers and 1 rookie tight end. It's also, look at what happened Bryce Young's second year in the system. Like, or second year. Like, there's going to be jumps, I guess I should say. And that's, hopefully that's true.
I just want to give him, the best opportunity.
Okay.
You know, and if you're not, 1,000% sold on XL being the guy or Coker being the guy, and I'm not 100% sold on either one of those guys. I just want somebody that I can be, but that's all right.
All right.
All right. So next one here.
One last one here before we go to that one. I'm sorry. I was getting some draft day bets here. I have total defensive lineman / edge players drafted in the first round. Over under 8.5. That's a fun one.
That's because 8 was the number I was thinking. So edge or is defensive lineman overall?
Yeah. Defensive lineman. So a linebacker doesn't count unless it's like the
right.
Jalen Walker would count as an edge, so therefore we would count him.
Would he count as an edge?
Yeah, I mean,
or would he count as a linebacker?
I would say edge.
Or does it depend on what the commissioner says because sometimes like they'll say safety or linebacker, right? Depending on I think Thomas Davis was one who played both positions, but they called safety. Burns, I think, was linebacker when he was drafted.
Yeah,
so
but Burns is definitely like a edge, though. That's why I'm saying it like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. So, okay. So defensive lineman. I mean, I would probably say over.
Good. I'm gonna go under just because I did over the offensive players, so I'm gonna have to go under just because there's only so many picks, and there's gonna be 2 quarterbacks and a running back, and
yeah, that makes sense. This fits right in with our previous defensive one or offensive one. Yep. All right, cool. All right, any others that you want to?
No, that was kind of
before we do our patented MeowMix Nostradamus prediction here.
No, I think I'm good.
All right, so every year Jerry and I always seem to hit on a pick like in the middle of the draft every year.
Oh, well, there's been times where it was second rounders, but still, it was not a first.
I'm saying no, a pick, right?
Yeah,
and it's usually not the first rounder, right? It's usually a third or fourth. Like last year, it was Jatavion Sanders.
Yes.
There was a year where it was another person I can't remember.
He's off the team. Ole Miss receiver. God, it's so sad how a second round pick from 2 years ago is already blanking in his name. Hey. We traded him to Dallas. Why could I not think of his name?
Mingo.
Yeah.
Mingo. Ole Miss. Yeah. Yeah, and there was a safety like in the fifth round we picked one year.
Oh, yeah, he was from the Battlehawks, St. Louis
Yeah.
Battlehawks of the AAF.
Yeah, so this would be a much better segment if we could remember who these people were. But either way, Jerry and I have, for like 3 years in a row, we
Three
have
or
gotten
four,
one of
yeah.
these right. Yeah, we have gotten one of these right. So we're going to do it again. Name one player that the Panthers draft after the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, I'm going to let you go first.
I have two in my head. I'm trying to decide who I want to go with. I'm going to go with the one that is a little later. I was thinking Darian Porter out of Iowa State, cornerback, converted wide
Hmm.
receiver. But I'm actually going to go with defensive tackle Deion Walker out of Kentucky.
Ooh,
I
okay.
had him in my mocks. I saw other people have him in my mocks. He's a big nose tackle guy, gets the dirty work. But,
Big nose tackle.
yep. So that's who I'm going with. I think we need that nose tackle anyways, as depth anyways. So I think that's what we're going to go with.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of within or going back and forth between a couple as well. Jalen Royals, wide receiver.
Mm.
So he's kind of like a third round, fourth round guy. Um, you know, the explosive yak guy that we've talked about that we kind of need here. And then the other one is an edge out of Old Miss, Princely.
Oh, Princely, yeah.
Princely Human something. Which he would probably be more like a second round pick.
Yeah, he would be a second round pick.
Although I think we most of us drafted him in the third round in our in our competition. Um, so I think I will go with Jalen Royals.
Okay.
I just feel like it's unlikely the Panthers go wide receiver super early, but I do think they get one, and the third round feels about the right spot.
Yeah. I I honestly I was prepping this question earlier in the draft season. I was looking at Isaiah Bond, but that arrest just scares
Yeah.
too many teams to take him early. Like a third round pick, I think is too early for a guy who has aggravated sexual assault charges pending. So
Yeah, although he's adamant that they are false,
yeah,
and he is
well,
fighting it, but but
I'm not going to deny his innocent until proven guilty, but Deshaun Watson said the same thing and was adamant after the first one came out too. And then,
unfortunately, the history is not on his side.
yeah. I mean, there's a few guys. Look at Mike Green. We didn't even talk about him, but his talent is probably up there to be a top 10 selection. But two sexual
Yeah,
assault charges one in college and one in high school. You're not taking that guy in the top 10 usually. You shouldn't. There's too much smoke.
some teams would. It does not seem like this team, with what they're trying to build, with what they've been preaching about character on and off the field. It just doesn't seem like that's some where they'd go in the first round when other options are available.
Yeah, I'm fine if they've had a hiccup, especially if it's
Hmm.
a non-violent hiccup.
Yeah,
Someone gets busted with
weed
weed.
or
And,
something.
yeah,
Sure.
like, okay. Or speeding. Even a
Mm.
DUI, as stupid as that is, do not drink and drive, folks. But in my opinion, I can forgive that. The violent offenses scares the crud out of me. Look at Greg Hardy. I mean,
That's the kind of the extreme,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean it's but you just when you're trying to build a culture, you want to be careful. You just want to be careful with who you bring into the building, and on the one side you've got Jalen Walker, and maybe on the other side you've got some of these other guys who just have that unfortunately negative stigma right now. And I think you just want to be careful. That's all. May not be true, but you just err on the side of caution. But either way, the Panthers are going to come away with some exciting, talented, young guys to add to this already kind of growing with some young, exciting talent team. Man, it's almost here. I'm really excited. Really excited.
I'm crazily excited some reason, and it's maybe because it is that hope that we got last week or last year at the end of the season. It was just that, oh, this could be real. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we saw the flashes. Like we saw bits and pieces of things that gave us hope. That just the exact opposite of what we saw in the Frank Reich, and really in even Matt Rule eras, right? Where Matt Rule, maybe there was a couple of early sparks that we thought we were seeing, but this feels real and sustainable.
And Bryce Young, I was watching a highlight reel of drops by Panthers receivers, and Bryce Young was just dropping the ball in hands. And Leggett was just dropping them. JT Sanders, Trimble were dropping them. So, and those are guys that I expect also, like I said, to take a step forward this year as well. So hopefully.
Well, if they do, then that to me will mean that Bryce Young also takes a step forward. And that's just great all around, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have to go out and spend early round picks on offensive guys, that's your best case scenario. You can just keep stacking that defense.
Yeah.
All right. That's what every team would want to do, right? Yeah. That's what the Chiefs do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are in their own little pain right now, but, I mean, they've already got the Super Bowls to...
Let's just say, give me some of that pain. Give me some of that pain, please.
To wipe, give me that pain. Have some rings to wipe away those tears.
Yeah.
All right. We will be back, I guess, on Friday sometime.
Likely, unless we do pick at 8 and
we head home.
Just go home and record. Yeah, but I would say most likely Friday. Yeah, I'm off, so we'll do what we need to do.
Yeah, I'll take a lunch break and do it.
Yeah.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMix Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. If you leave us a 5-star review with a comment on Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show.
Yeah, like I said earlier, if you happen to be around Dave and Buster's around the first round, you see Jerry and I, stop by and say hey. Otherwise, as Jerry said, we'll be back after the first round to talk our thoughts. And until then, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding.